Hello, hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, Wildflower Tea, and welcome to another live. You guys overlook me. I'm a mess. Everything's a mess all the time. I swear. I was ready to go live on time this time, like really ready to go. All heck breaks loose. But what's new? You may hear my dogs barking in the background because that also seems to be a thing that they love to do as soon as I hit the live button. So if so, I apologize. But welcome everyone. How is everybody doing on this beautiful Sunday? It is gorgeous here. I mean, this weekend has been stunning, you guys. It has been stunning. As some of you may know, if you follow my community post, yesterday was my husband's birthday. So we just spent the day celebrating him. We was lazy the first portion of the day, and then we went to our favorite spot for supper. Then we went to the movies, and it was just a fun little night. When we got home, the kids were tuckered out. They were so good too. They were on literally the best behavior. Honestly, they were the best little kids ever. I did get some little snippets of them, and I plan on sharing that over on my community post. So if you guys are interested, be sure to follow my community post. I'm all the time keeping you guys updated over there. But today, sorry, I know that was a little bit long-winded, but today we are going to be following up from this situation between Michael and Amy. If you guys follow my channel, you may have caught my video from earlier this week where we did discuss Amy and Michael's very sudden, Amy Slaton from 1,000 Pound Sisters, their very sudden separation. It was very sudden, and there wasn't a lot of details on as to why they separated. The only thing that we really knew based off of just different sources coming forward is that they had been arguing a great deal about the boys being on the show. And I gave Michael and Amy both a lot of credit there because I understand both arguments. I understand why Michael is protective and would not want the kids to be on the show for their protection, for their safety, but I also understand why Amy would want to share the kids on the show. You know what I mean? So as a parent myself, that's something that I can really relate to on both parts. But it didn't make a lot of sense to me because I felt like, yes, it makes sense. Okay, when once you have kids, there's a lot more that it can put a strain on a relationship, right? And their new time, like they're just getting used to this new adjustment as with two kids, which is a huge adjustment. There's a major difference between just one child and two children, and both of their children are young. They're babies, both of them basically. She has Gage, who is a toddler at this point, and freshly a toddler, and then a newborn or an 8-month old baby Glenn. So that can cause a huge strain in a relationship as well. But nonetheless, Michael did file for divorce, and they went this past Wednesday, as I told you guys earlier this week. They went this past Wednesday for motion hour for that motion of divorce. There's not been a lot of details since, but I'm assuming that everything went as divorces do. But it was a really heartbreaking situation. And since then, you guys, a lot of information has been coming out about the details leading up to the separation. So just 17 days before Michael filed for divorce, there was a 911 call dispatched from Amy herself. Now, according to The Sun, which is where I am getting this article, it says that the 911 dispatch was document says that Amy claimed that Michael started throwing things during their alleged heated argument, which happened on Friday, February 24th. This is a lot, you guys, so buckle up. Okay, so this explosive argument went down like I said, just before they filed for, or Michael filed for divorce. And according to the dispatch report, neither Amy nor Michael were under the influence of any drugs or alcohol when the officer arrived on the scene around 2:30 that Friday. Amy and Michael were, however, allegedly arguing over their breakup. Amy was wanting to leave and separate from Michael, and Michael was not having it, according to the officer who showed up on scene. Now, Amy claimed that after a little bit of arguing about her wanting to leave, not wanting to be in the situation anymore, that is when Michael eventually became violent, okay? And this is verbatim, became violent and started throwing things with Gage, who is only 2 years old, and baby Glenn, who is 8 months old, present in the home. This is why Amy ended up having to call the cops because, I mean, come on, I could only imagine how terrifying that would be especially with your kids in the home. And I'm going to turn to chat in a second to see what you guys are saying. Now, the Sun did reach out to TLC to see if they had any type of a public response that they wanted to release on this information. And as of now, there has not been any information that TLC has shared. But what we do know is that no one got arrested on this night, which leads me to believe that obviously Amy did not press charges of any case because there was no arrest from either Michael or Amy from this altercation. But this does lead us to wonder like how much we're going to see unfold on the show as well, because I had said in my recent live stream, I actually gave Michael a lot of the benefit of the doubt, you guys. I said, from what we've seen on the show, he seems to be really hands-on. And where I get that information is before baby Glenn came, when it was just Gage, we did see a lot of photos and different clips of him being a really, really good daddy. I know there was a birthday party. He was really hands-on with Gage and just different situations, different little clips. And Amy has always, always spoken very highly of Michael and how helpful he is. However, in this season, we've seen a completely different side of things, if so to speak. In a recent episode, Amy breaks down because Michael just was not helping her at all. They went to a family cookout and Michael just sat there as the babies were screaming and crying, acting like he did not hear them at all. So I do got a small little clip of that I want to play, and then I definitely have some opinions and I want to know what you guys think as well.
It's really hard because Gage is crying. Daddy ain't doing Sometimes I feel like I got 3 kids. Everybody is having fun, having a good old time. I'm over here hot as hell. I just recuperated from surgery. Gage just won't stop crying. The boys started crying, and I'm like trying to choose which one to give my attention to at that point in time. I just feel like, how am I going to do this?
That's so heartbreaking, you guys. As a mommy, dude, I get it. I've got three, and I know how hard it can be. So let me get this off the screen really quick. You guys know I'm not fast at all, but this was kind of like our first little glimpse into seeing how Michael is since there's two babies now, which is such a huge adjustment on any family. When you go from one child to two or even three, okay, for me, I felt like I had it down pat with two. I I had a boy and a girl, and it just everything kind of flowed. It was perfect. They were best buddies, 3 years apart. Like it worked amazingly. And then when baby number three came, the routine went out the window. Everything just went out the window. We had to kind of start from scratch and get used to a new way of just adjusting, because it's different with each child, and each child, no matter how much they may look alike or what the situation is, just different, and that's just the way it is. But to see how Michael just sat there as she's struggling to try to take care of both of her children, and like crying, you can tell, like she said, it's hot, she just had surgery, all of these things, and Michael's doing nothing, nothing to help, just sitting there eating his food. And that really put it into perspective for me, because even in that clip that I just showed you guys, Amy kind of laughed about it, right? Like she didn't want to say anything bad about Michael. You could tell that she just tried to make it into a little joke, but at the same time, that this really, really bothered her. And I think that that adjustment to a second child was probably put a huge strain on their relationship as well. And Michael obviously not wanting to participate and be more hands on. So I just wanted to clarify that, because in my last video on this, I gave him a lot of the benefit of the doubt. And as I was looking at this and catching up on the show and seeing this like a recent episode, I was like, oh wow, like, and then to hear that he's being violent with the children around, like, it's just, and I want to say this, okay? I feel that when emotions run high, of course, you're gonna be erratic and things like that. Like me and my husband have had different altercations before, like just little tiffs. All couples have tiffs, but you have to know when to walk away from one another. And Amy and Michael have been married for 5 years. They aren't new to that. Number one, and number two, you know, baby Glenn has been here for 8 months. Gage has been here a couple of years, so they know. Um, People make mistakes, so I'm not trying to judge him too harshly, but at the same time, to do those things in front of your children is it's not okay. It's just it's not. You find a time and a place to speak to one another, and sometimes you got to put those conversations on hold until the kids take a nap, or the kid, whatever the situation may be. Sometimes you just got to put things on hold to where you can have a little bit more of a private conversation with one another. But to see how it kind of escalated to this situation very quickly and became violent with Michael throwing things, it does make me question if this was a conversation that they've had before. You don't just wake up one day and decide to separate. You know what I mean? So that leads me to believe that this is something that they have discussed before, and Michael just did not, he wasn't having it. Now, moving on with this article from the Sun, it says that they actually caught wind of the separation back in February, and that is when they first reported on it, that they were splitting after 5 years of marriage. Although Amy did not take legal action to file for divorce at first, as we know Michael did, She did move out of their shared family home and in with her sister Tammy, which we talked about earlier this week as well. She's been staying with Tammy, and she did take the kids with her following this alleged fight, which I completely understand. Seeing all of this stuff kind of be put into more of context, it makes a lot of sense to me on why Amy made the choice to leave the home, because it seemed very sudden to the public. But now with this new information, it makes a lot more sense on why, for their own safety and for her own as well. By March 13th, however, Michael filed for, this is how it says it in this article. It says for the dissolution of marriage, which is divorce, with children against Amy, according to the Kentucky court documents, which again, the Sun exclusively reported. Now, the thing is we knew about the fight, about the kids being on the show, but this really does, there's so much more to it. And I think it just reminds us all again that even if you think you know a situation, you follow the family, you follow their social medias, you all of these things, you don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. You can think that you know a person's personality or celebrity, even someone on, the internet like myself. You can feel like you really know them, but at the end of the day, there's so much that happens in people's lives that we don't know. And I'm sure that this has been a difficult time for the both of them, adjusting, and the boys adjusting to this new way of life. You know what I mean? But it seems that Amy is doing really, really good. I wanted to share with you guys very quickly. She just posted this today, so I just wanted to quickly share it with you because I have been concerned about how she's doing. Is she doing okay? This is a lot of change, a lot of change. But she's been posting little community posts on her YouTube channel, which I will link again in the description below. And she posted this about an hour ago, these photos, saying, watching a beautiful sunset with some amazing friends. And as you can see, there's this picture of her in sunglasses with her blue hair. Ooh, look at that purse. She's flashing that little purse, and it seems like she is happy. Now, of course, pictures aren't everything. They only share a moment in someone's life, but she has been more active on social media. She's been sharing these photos, sharing more pictures. She shared these 2 weeks ago. Beautiful day to smile. A lot of positivity from Amy. You know what I mean? And just trying to stay uplifted through this. I'm sure people have been leaving her very supportive comments, letting her know that they are there for her, that they support her, and that they're thinking of her. And I think that that's really what Amy needs right now, because divorce is difficult, and especially when you have kids. You know what I'm saying? It's very difficult. So I am wishing her nothing but the best, you guys. This is just, it's heartbreaking, but at the same time, if it has gotten to that point to where it's becoming aggressive or violent in any way, whether it is physical or emotional, separating is for the best, especially when there are kids involved. So I am just really glad that Amy did what was right for her and for her children. But as you can see, there's people leaving very supportive messages. This person said, Amy, you're an amazing woman and your heart has always been in the right place. I'm sorry all of this is happening to you. Another person said, so glad you're doing what makes you happy and is best for you and your boys. Never wonder if you're a good mom. You're the best. And then just one last one for good measure. It says, you go, girl. A single looks great on you. Live your best life. You deserve it. And I agree, y'all. I agree. I want nothing more but to see Amy happy, living her best life. And she seems happy here. So that makes me very happy for her. This is heartbreaking. This is a very sad situation. Now, let me see if there's anything else on here really quick before we go. Yeah, so they argued over the kids and Michael not wanting the kids to be on the show. A source said that Michael doesn't want the kids to be on the show because he worries about their safety, as I stated before. But Amy disagrees. They've been fighting over this for months. The insider also said that Amy and her family consider Michael to be lazy with childcare, which we've seen in that clip. And if that is any indication of how he is off camera, because you got to think, when someone is on camera, right, they're going to amp it up a little bit. They're going to amp it up. They're going to make it maybe be a less um just they're going to amp it up and try to be their best selves or whatever because they're on camera. So the fact that Michael did not care whatsoever when those cameras were rolling, that lets you know, like, that's just how it is with him. And y'all, it's heartbreaking seeing her cry like that. Yeah, that really upset me. But as Amy has been struggling, according to this, it says Amy has been struggling emotionally while continuing to care for the children. And like we've seen in that one clip of her crying and getting really upset over this, it's been very overwhelming for her, despite the support from her sister Tammy. The source also shared that Amy's family has been extremely supportive throughout this separation and helping her as much as they can with the kiddos. But yeah, things are definitely looking a little bit different for them as a family. Um, as she's been staying with Tammy, though, it's according to this. Again, this is allegedly. You guys take it with a grain of salt because you know how these news outlets like to try to amp up the drama. But according to this, it says that a source shared that Tammy has also been feeling a bit frustrated with Amy and her kids crashing in her house. Tammy was supposed to be enjoying her honeymoon phase, even though Caleb isn't there with her. So I don't know, but it says that she was supposed to be enjoying her honeymoon phase with her new husband, Caleb Willingham, inside of their 2-bedroom house with her plans changed. Tammy initially offered up her new home as a place for Amy to stay, but according to a source, she now feels her sister is overstaying her welcome. Again, this is allegedly, you guys. I don't know how much I don't know how much I believe that. What do you guys think? Because I feel like, okay, unless there's things that we don't know as the public. So is it possible that Caleb has gotten out of the facility and he's there? Sure, it's possible, but everything that we have seen leading up to now, Caleb is still working towards his weight loss goals and trying to get into a place to where, he can be approved for bariatric surgery and leave the facility. So I'm led to believe that Caleb's not there right now. He is still in the facility in Ohio. And last I heard, he was working on some insurance situations so that he could transfer from that facility where Amy was once before to somewhere closer to where Amy is now in Kentucky. That's possible that could have happened and he may be closer. Who knows? But nonetheless, he isn't in the home with her at this point, as far as we know. So Amy and Tammy have always been extremely close, and Tammy has missed a lot of those boys growing up. That's something that we both know. She loves being Auntie Tammy. She loves those kids to death, and these are all things we know. So it's hard for me to believe that. I'm sure it's frustrating. It's new. It's whatever, but I hope that this isn't true because Amy has done so much for Tammy throughout the years, and things that she didn't have to do, right? Like they could have put got Tammy care outside of the family a long, long, long before they really actually had to, and it became a life or death situation. But Amy dedicated so much of her own life to caring for Tammy, even after she had Gage. She still did so much for Tammy. So I don't know how much I believe that. You guys definitely let me know what you think in the comments down below. Again, I will link this information in the description after this live as well. But yeah, what do you guys think about all of this? I think it's a lot. To know I never visioned Michael being violent in any way. Um, and again, I know that when emotions are involved, that can bring out different characteristics in a person, but it's uncalled for. It's uncalled for, especially when there are children involved. Period. Period. When there are children in the home, it's uncalled for. Nonetheless, you guys, again, let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for joining me for this one. I think I'm going to attempt to go live again here in a bit. I am going to be doing a members only live. So if you are a member, be sure to stay tuned for that. I'm aiming to do that around 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so just a couple hours from now. If you want to join, we're just going to have a little chitty chat, and I'm going to try to click this up a little bit and just share it over for those of you who are not really big fans of live streams. That way, you get the information that you're looking for. But yeah, you guys, stay tuned. I will probably go live tomorrow. There's a couple of different topics that I want to talk about outside of Amy and them, some more reality TV news. So stay tuned for that. And be sure that you check out the community post because that is where I tell you guys everything before I even do it. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Be sure to give this video a big thumbs up before you go. I appreciate you all to the moon and stars. And until my next one, bye, y'all. Have a good Sunday, the rest of your Sunday.